Hello and welcome to this new episode of Good Step Sustainability Talk. And today, our guest with us is Mr. Rajesh Vasudevan. Rajesh has been in the industry for more than 3 decades and is currently leading the EHS and ESG function at Cipla. Rajesh has been a passionate advocate of sustainability, not just within the organization as a part of his profession, but actively writes and shares his experiences, what individuals can do. So let's join to welcome Rajesh in this show and learn from him from his experiences. Welcome, Rajesh.
Thank you, Preeti, and thanks for inviting me. My pleasure.
Okay, Rajesh, so the focus of this talk is about the individual actions which we all can take along with the work, along with our family members. So, which all the other fellow people who want to start their journey can get to know about and get started. So, let me begin with my first question. Sustainability, safety, environment. Now, these are three simple English words, but have a very wider meaning. What does it mean to you?
So, to me, let me start with safety because I always say, we should start our life with safety first. So, to me, safety is what I believe is that everyone should go home safely every day. Uh, be it in our organization, be it at our homes, whoever comes to our house and organization should go back home safely every day. And that should be our motto.
Yeah.
And my passion towards safety started when I joined a company called ICI. The
Okay.
word ICI is no more there because it was taken over by some other companies, but most of the safety practices which started in many of the organizations what started by ICI. It's called Imperial Chemical Industries. In India, it's better known as Dulux Paints.
Okay.
Right? So it's uh, when organization talks about safety now, all these practices were started by ICI many years ago. So my passion towards safety started from there, and then it took on from there. So since I've done multiple roles, so I started with maintenance, went to safety, and then went to operations. But then I knew that my passion was safety, and I'll come back towards safety. And at that point of time, when I joined sustainability, was we were practicing it without that term, with the sustainability. Because
Yeah.
on the hindsight, if you look back, you can see that many practices which our grandmas and mothers do were a part of sustainability, right? But we never put that name into it. Right?
We have
So
renamed it
that's the
now and
story.
we call it.
Yeah. So many practices, and so when you talk about health, I'll tell you an incident that why health is important, and I'll tell you a personal experience which I had. Uh, I was never a fitness freak, and I would like to call me so now. It was kind of an incident which happened when I moved to Calcutta in my
Okay.
earlier organization. And one fine day morning, early morning, I just shifted to Calcutta. I was new to Calcutta and I had severe heartbeat was going beyond the normal one. So I could feel that the heart is beating so fast that I thought it is in a heart attack. Because I heard about heart attack, but I never knew that, what are the signs of it. So I concluded that's heart attack, but I could move around my house early in the morning. But then somehow I survived that night and went to a doctor in the morning. So doctor said that can be is something called sinus tachycardia, where the heartbeat goes beyond the normal heart rate.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
the diagnosis because can be because of two reasons. One is because of thyroid, and the other one is because of stress. So he asked me about my job profile, and he said that most probably it's because of stress. And ultimately, to cut the chase, it was because of stress, and that's the point. The doctor suggested saying that, so I said that what should I do? That you have to take your time out from your routine work, you have to take leave, and you have to get into some fitness programs. And there was a turning point in my life where I started my fitness journey, and I started now running marathons and doing some uh, fantastic treks to Everest and Annapurna base camps. I sleep at 9:30 sharp, no
Oh,
deviations. So, and that has been for the last 15 years. So, and that's a trigger point. So everyone needs a trigger point, right? So I learned it the hard way. So to me, health started from there. And when you talk of sustainability, my passions, that's what I'm saying. Uh, we were practicing sustainability. So I hail from Kerala. So I still remember that when we used to have family get together, in Kerala, we have independent houses. So we have plantain leaves. So I used to go and cut the plantain leaf and serve the food in plantain leaves because we don't have to waste water and a lot of food plates to wash. So we have, and still, if you go to marriages in Kerala, you can see people being served food in typical plantain leaf.
Right.
And we were taught that when you move from one room to the other, please switch off the lights. Perhaps that is more for financial reasons because we didn't have that much money to pay. But still, on the hindsight, if you see that we were protecting, or our parents were well aware of what was sustainability at that point of time. So the practices what we practice now, the seed of thought came from my parents and my ancestors. So if you see their living, they had a quite simple living and with
Mhm.
less of consumerism and more of saving and protecting the planet.
Right. Very well. And I think very rightly said, it's like a lot of times we all learn the things the hard way, which are the trigger points for us. But it's also a chance for others to uh, learn from the those who started the harder way to make it simpler for them to take those steps as a proactive measures.
Yeah.
So,
So even now, I mean, it's all learned from my mother. If you got a milk packet, right,
mhm,
once you empty it, you pour a little bit of water and then take out the entire milk out of it. And even in terms of oil, you keep it overnight so that the last drip of oil, gets into the bottle. Right? There
right.
was no waste at all. The only thing is that that point of time we used to get oil in good glass bottles. The thing what
Mhm.
have changed is that now you have more of plastic coming into our houses.
And probably we
So
used everything very less that time, very in a minimalistic way. Now we are using from oil to the cooking oil to the fuel oil, everything we're using in a lot of quantity.
ev-
Yeah.
everything, and I've started weighing how much plastic I generate every month and try to avoid it, but I don't think uh, it's possible to avoid. We can only reduce.
Yeah. I think
Right?
becoming
And
aware and reducing that, that is most important. We cannot eliminate it altogether, but yes, wherever it is possible, we can do it in
yeah,
a
yeah,
better
we
way.
can. I mean, if you put my heart and soul into it, definitely we can reduce it. And I always put a point of view saying that let's not get into this reduce, recycle. I think we should not buy things what we don't want. It starts from there.
Right.
Why should
Right.
we generate waste?
Mhm. So, a lot of people don't start their sustainability journey due to certain misconceptions, and a lot of them find it sometimes difficult. And of course, there are certain challenges, but there are certain simple things also which we all can do. In your journey with sustainability, with safety, share with us about one or two challenges and how did you overcome that?
So, so I'll talk about my personal challenges. I mean, you live in a society, right? And
Mhm.
my wife is also an advocate of, you know, so she's a partner in crime for all the sustainability initiatives. So she makes her own stuff for washing. She tried to make a toothpaste out of whatever it is, but some of them successful, some of them unsuccessful. Uh, she does campaign door to door on,
Oh,
recycling plastic within our society.
mhm.
But if there are 300 houses, hardly 12 or 15 people respond to those asks. I'm not sure why a simple thing like, just segregate the waste so that we can segregate plastic and other things or a food waste separate. Just making them convince is the most difficult challenge what I'm facing. Right? My view is that unless and until we practice at home, our next generation, how will they practice? Because we have learned from our, mothers and grandmothers, right? But if we don't spend at least 5 minutes to segregate the waste, and if our kids are not going to see this, I'm not sure how next generation is going to change. So it's a huge challenge that how will we change the society in itself. And I am a staunch advocate that instead of teaching history at schools, right,
Mhm.
which I don't think people of much use in the later stage, I think we should talk about safety and sustainability at the curriculum stage itself at the schools.
Right.
And we know that in Japanese schools, people are made to clean their
Right.
classrooms. Why can't we bring that culture here? I'm sure that the parents now will go hammer and tongs behind the principal and why are you making my kids clean, right? But I think it should start from there. If you don't start from there, the next generation will not change. And I see a lot of youngsters really changing. I'm not saying that. I see a very, very optimistic outlook because I see a lot of youngsters getting into this, uh, you know, recycling, and they're talking about something. Even talking is the first step
Right.
if you're not doing, right? So I'm more optimistic in it. So the greatest challenge what I face is, how to change the mindset of the so-called the educated lot. So I'm putting in inverted comma. So education is not getting a degree, right? Education is more about how you behave yourself and how you practice sustainability.
So anything worked so far? Anything which is more effective as of now, which you found?
So a couple of my friends, so told them a story, right? And this on food waste. In your life, everything comes from a trigger. And this couple, I think they said 10 years back, I went to Lucknow for some investigation. And I had a guy with me who was a safety guy. So we went to a hotel and we were having food. And then we ordered the food. And as usual, because the size of the plate is more than what we can chew, normally, there are a lot of food waste. And what happened for that instance was a huge amount of curry left, but there were no rotis. Now, what do you do with this? So this guy said that, you parcel me two rotis to the hotel guy. I never knew what was he going. He parceled two rotis and he parceled the curries also. And he just went outside the door and there were a lot of, people who were craving for food waiting outside and he handed over to them. I
Nice.
said that, yeah, normally when there is a curry left, we don't think that, what do you do with that curry? But he just bought two more rotis, which is hardly cost $10, and then he saved that food. So when I tell this story, right, I have at least five or six friends who have started doing this.
So Rajesh, moving on, regarding how the pharma industry, which you have been a part of, what are there any, see, although there are a lot of initiatives at the company at the operation level which each player is undertaking, including CIPLA, so be it zero waste to landfill, water conservation, etc., which indirectly affects the entire ecosystem. But as a consumer, if I'm looking for what is happening in the industry in terms of direct, or in terms of, let's say, a simple example, uh, we all buy medicines, and sometimes what happens, it expires and we have not used it. So, what would be the correct way to dispose that of? And do we have that infrastructure currently in India?
So it's a very sad story saying that, so in a typical pharma industry, there is a reverse logistics. But
Okay.
unfortunately, the reverse logistics of expired medicine starts only at the retailer level. So
Okay.
if you go to a typical medical shop, uh, all the expired medicines, which is within 6 months, it
Mhm.
is going to expire within 6 months. They return it back to the original manufacturer. So if
Okay.
it's a Cipla medicine, it goes back to Cipla. If it's Glenmark, it goes to Glenmark, and that's how this whole system works, right?
Mhm.
Unfortunately, for medicines which is used by the consumer, there
Mhm.
is no mechanism to collect it and send it back, right?
Okay.
Uh, I think last week there was a directive from I don't remember which. I think it was from Food, Drugs, or Pollution Control,
Okay.
that a few of the medicine, they said that you are supposed to flush it through your toilets. It's
Okay.
because it has some narcotics in it and people can misuse it,
Okay.
right? But there are, I think, 17 medicines which they said that you have to flush it out, otherwise people can misuse it. Not
Okay.
in terms of environment, but it's
Mm-hmm.
more in terms of people's safety.
Okay.
But it's high time there is some regulation which is going to come. I mean, I'm not privy to that. That there is something related to EPR which is going to come for it,
Okay.
right? But if you ask me currently if there's a big issue, it's a big issue
Mm-hmm.
because have you heard a term called AMR, which is antimicrobial resistance?
Yes.
Antimicrobial resistance is something that, more and more people are getting immune to antibiotics.
Mm-hmm.
It's because of the water we take has a lot of antibiotics in it. It
Mm-hmm.
can be because of doctors are prescribing too many antibiotics to a patient, right?
Mm-hmm.
So people are becoming immune. So not all the medicines what you get are antibiotics. There are specific nomenclature to antibiotics.
Right.
But if antibiotics gets into water and if that water is consumed over a period of time, you become antibiotic resistant,
Okay.
right? Then no antibiotics will work on it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a huge threat. And uh, the issue is that in a big country like in India, uh, of course, we can have machines which you can dispose of medicines, and then you can have a reverse logistics coming back to Cipla or Glenmark or whoever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still at a very, very nascent stage. And how many people will take the pain of putting it back? We still get
Right.
queries. There are people who ask these questions that where can I put the inhaler back into the system? Then we can say that, you have to bring it to so and so place so that we can take it up. But in a big country like India, it's a big, big challenge. So as of now, there's no solution for household antibiotic medicines or any medicines.
Mm-hmm.
But up to the retailer level, we have a solution which is going back to the manufacturer and then recycling it or incinerating it as per the legal systems.
The best way would be in case any medicine is going to get expired, as at an individual level, they can check with their retailer if it is possible from their system, it can go back
Yeah,
rather
it
than it
depends
is.
on the retailer. There is no diktat that
Mhm.
they have to take it back.
Right. But they can at least check for this options
They can
availability.
at least take it because they get the money back. So even
Hmm.
for the expired medicines, even if they don't sell it, when
Hmm.
it comes back to the original manufacturer, they're supposed to give the money back to the distributor. He's getting money back.
Okay. Okay.
Right? But
So,
the whole system is that he can't send a non, so uh, a product A to a product B manufacturer, then he will not get the refund,
mhm. So for
right?
them also, I think segregating and classifying and sending it would be a uh, pain which they would want
Right,
to take or which they would not want to take. It's
correct.
really a
But the
question.
larger issue, Preeti, is that normally all these formats or medicines comes in a batch number of 10, for example, right?
Hmm.
And there is an expiry written not on all capsules. It will be marked somewhere in a prominent place.
Right.
But if you go to some states, I've seen it in Bangalore and Kerala, Maharashtra, it's not very prominent. They cut the medicine and give it,
Hmm.
right? So if you cut the medicine and give it, what happens is that you will not see the expiry date of the medicine,
Hmm.
right? And then what will people do? Either they will consume it or they will throw the dustbin by saying that I can't see the expiry date. So
Right.
even they can dispose it of even before the expiry date.
Hmm.
Right? That
Right.
remains a challenge. So they are not supposed to cut it and give it, right?
Hmm.
And people
Right.
normally say that no, this is how pharma company is making money because instead of two, they are giving us 10. But the fact of the matter, it's big. It's 10 because you have to print the expiry date on it, and
Oh,
and that's why the whole uh, if it's 10, the whole 10 capsule has to be given so that you understand there is an expiry date and the batch number. Because eventually, if something happens, we have to backtrack it and see what happened to that capsules or tablets.
right. Got it. I think that's very important point. Rajesh, before we close this, one question I'd like to ask you, one simple sustainability habit for somebody new starting their journey, what would you recommend? And one simple safety habit, one of each.
Okay. So this sustainability habit which I follow, I can always say that I follow is that I carry my own grocery bag. So at any point of time, not that I forget it, but my wife keeps on keeping one grocery bag. So what happens is when you come back from the office, you buy some fruits or vegetables, and at point of time they give you the plastic. So I have one grocery bag, empty grocery bag, and then I have a foldable glass which I keep on carrying. So I go to airports, and when they give disposable cups, I say that why don't you serve it in my glass? It's kind of a foldable glass.
Mhm.
When you fold it, it becomes very small, or I can make it bigger, right? So uh, when I travel in Indigo, also when they give that white cup, I give this glass. So people have been staring at me saying that what is this guy doing? But I said that why don't you serve it in my glass? So there's, I mean, of course they politely give it in my glass. So so this is all coming from that. Why should you generate waste, right? I think we have been focusing more on reusing and recycling. I think we should consume less. And for us to consume less, we need to have things in our hand, like a carry bag or a glass or a cutlery, where we can use it whenever we need. Not that 100% of the time we'll be able to use, but many times, So I'll tell you that we always practice this, Preeti. I'm sure that you're in sustainability. When I go to a restaurant, right, they give me a plate and they serve me snacks. And the moment after the snacks, they take out the plate and bring a newer plate.
Mhm.
So I said that, do please don't. I mean, do you do it in your house? No, right? Then why should you have a separate behavior when you go to a hotel? I can take it in the
Absolutely.
same plate, right? Why
Absolutely.
should you, have more and more cutleries being washed? So those are the simple practices, not, you don't have to spend money for it. Just use your logic and, you know, don't consume. That's my point of view. You can, uh, I still remember I used to wear my, brother's uniform because he become bigger. So when I go to the next class, I used to get the uniform which he used to wear, right? The school bags which he used to wear. Perhaps at that point of time, I always say that become because of, perhaps it's because of the financial, we are not that much money to buy all those things. But on the hindsight, if you see that these are very, very good practices, right? Why should you have, again stitch the clothes if you can wear the same clothes which my brother used to wear? It's the same uniform, right? Same bag, right? So I think our forefathers were visionaries, I'm telling you, because they were practicing it. Unfortunately, it's our generation who have not imbibed that practice, and we are not teaching our kids also how to do it. Right? So that's on sustainability. Don't consume more. Uh, Whatever you have many things in your hand to practice it. Practice it. On safety, I always say that this is a favorite word of me. Safety is something what you practice when others don't watch. Right? That's what
Right.
leadership is all about. So if I wear my helmet for police, then it's more of a compliance.
Right.
But if I wear helmet every time, then it's
Mhm.
commitment, right? So always that there are two C's. One is compliance, one is commitment. Compliance is that when you're doing it for somebody else. Commitment, if you do it for yourself, that's for commitment, right?
Right.
So I always ask that how many. So I ask in every meeting, how many of us still wear rare seat belts when you're traveling? And everyone raises their hand. I said that please be honest yourself. And 50% of the people put their hands down. Right. And then I asked that how many of us know that Cyrus Mistry passed away because he was not wearing a seat belt despite having a high-end car. Everyone shake their hand, yeah, we know about it. So if we know about it, then why are we not doing it? The simple answer is that it has not happened to someone who is closer to me. And there's a very peculiar thing in safety. One is time, the other one is distance. So I always tell this example. What is time? Time is always, अरे मेरे को 5 मिनट का काम था. So what has 5 minutes to do with a safety incident? Nothing, right? So you ask a scooter guy that why are you not wearing a safety helmet? "Oh, I hardly had to move for 1 kilometer to buy something. अरे, what is the correlation between 1 kilometer and you will not meet with an incident,
Right.
right? The second is distance, right? How many of us remember MH, I think MH Malaysia airline incident where
Yeah.
it crashed,
Right.
right? No one remembers, and very few people remember. But how many of us remember Ahmedabad incident? Because it has happened closer to our home, right? Go back to COVID days, right? Many people refused to wear masks till something happened to their kith and kin, right? So distance matters. Unless and until something happens closer to my house, closer to my relatives, I will not follow practice. Right? We need to get away from that. Time and distance never matters in safety. It can happen to anyone at any point
Right.
of time.
Anytime.
That's a
Right.
simple rule.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Rajesh, for sharing your experiences and these incidents. I'm sure a lot of people will resonate with especially the stories which came in this conversation, because, like you said rightly, we as human beings don't get to do things, don't start doing things just because we are told to. Some story is something which gets us going in that direction. For the audiences, Rajesh passionately writes about a lot of individual practices, both on sustainability as well as safety on LinkedIn. In case there is any other mode also, Rajesh, you're writing, please do share that, because I've been following his LinkedIn post, and those are, in fact, a lot of people are following that and getting benefited with the practical insights which he shares there. So, and Rajesh, do also share if there's any other mode you are sharing your experiences other than LinkedIn, so that people, if they are not on LinkedIn, they can access through that channel.
So, Priti, 3 years back, I took a vow that I will get out of all social media because it was completely killing my time, valuable time. So, I'm not in any other social media other than LinkedIn.
So
And
that's the best
that
thing. One place everywhere we can get all the good knowledge on this and experiences on safety, which is very important for all of us. Health, we all will do anything for that, but the basic things we are forgetting. And of course, the environment and sustainability around that. So,
right. And I also follow you and Small Footprints work, Preeti. It's quite impressive, and we need more and more, Preetis and smaller footprints to come in because you guys are leading the pack.